And I definitely don't sit with people who make child porn films.
It's not our fault that Justin Bieber got by Diddy.
Lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
What happened to Usher?
Kid to the hospital. How you send him to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the butt.
I didn't have a choice. It got bad when I was about 15 years old. Because when I did MTV Cribs, the day that I had to go show off that house, my mom and my dad told me, we're getting a divorce, but you still have to go do this. I had to go show off all the stuff my whole life that was going to be taken away from me.
Yo, Diddy, you gave me the ooshkash koosmash. You gave me the ooshkash muaf, the smooshmash. Diddy. Yeah, son.
Gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he wants you.
Welcome back. Let's spill the tea on today's biggest celebrity stories. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to get your daily dose of scandal and glamour. The Diddy scandal just hit a whole new level. And it ain't just whispers no more. That leaked audio clip flying around online? Yeah, the one that allegedly catches Meek Mill and Diddy in a real compromising position? That's just the tip of the iceberg. Sources close to the feds say the FBI ain't sitting on just one clip. They got hours of raw footage locked down, straight from those wild freak-off parties. And what's on those tapes? People are calling it emotional, nasty, and straight-up career-ending. Some of the biggest names in the game were allegedly caught on camera, and word is a few of them broke down crying after whatever went down. This ain't some silly internet rumor anymore. Nah, this stuff is about to shake the whole industry. These tapes, they're coming to court. Every little secret is about to spill, and the world's gonna see it all. So who were these rappers Diddy allegedly messed with, to the point they were left in tears? Let's rewind to the moment that really kicked this madness off. That viral audio that's had everyone talking for over a year. The one where Meek Mill and Diddy allegedly got caught up. A former security guard said he personally recorded it during one of those infamous parties. And if he's telling the truth, it's just the beginning of the chaos. The guard didn't stop at just one tape. He says there's a bunch of them. According to him, multiple top-tier artists got caught on hidden cameras in messed up situations they had no idea were being recorded. And now, the FBI's got their hands on those tapes as part of this massive investigation. But here's where it gets real disturbing. One of the earliest and most talked about recordings reportedly involves Usher. Yeah, that Usher. And it ties all the way back to when he was just a kid in the game. Not many people remember this. But Usher actually lived with Diddy when he was only 13 years old, as part of what was called a mentorship. But now, insiders are saying that whole setup took a dark twist. According to several folks in the industry, something went very wrong one night at Diddy's mansion, and Usher allegedly ended up in the hospital after whatever happened. Years later, Usher touched on it during interviews, but he kept it cryptic. He only said that Diddy exposed him to a side of the industry he wasn't ready for. But now, going back and re-watching those clips, his words hit way harder. You can feel there was more he didn't say. And if the feds really got footage tied to that time, this case just turned haunting. A producer who was tight with both Usher and Diddy during that time came forward, and what he said raised some eyebrows. According to him, Usher wasn't the same after that hospital visit. He pulled back, got quiet, and stopped trusting people like he used to. And if you really pay attention, Usher barely ever talks about those early Diddy years anymore. Whenever it comes up, he dodges the question or flips the topic real quick. But it's not just Usher. Another alleged tape sitting with the feds involves none other than YK Osiris. And if you've been watching him lately, you know something's off. His strange behavior had fans side-eyeing him for a minute now, but it might all tie back to Diddy. Here's where the timeline gets sketchy. In early 2021, YK suddenly said he was broke, like dead broke. He publicly admitted to selling off all his flashy rides. The Lambo, the Bentley, all gone. But then, just a few weeks later, he pops up at a luxury resort in Jamaica, the exact place Diddy was chilling at. And when folks pressed him about their relationship on The Breakfast Club, he got all weird with it. No denial, no clarity. Just nervous laughter and blushing like he was caught red-handed. Whatever went down between them, he wasn't trying to explain it. And that silence is speaking loud. Now that the FBI is digging through hours of recovered footage, sources say there's one tape that could finally connect the dots and possibly explain why Osiris's whole vibe shifted out of nowhere. This ain't just about vacations anymore. Whatever happened during those private getaways might be way darker than anyone guessed. Insiders are whispering that what's on that tape is beyond disturbing, and if even half of it is true, this case isn't just about Diddy anymore. We could be looking at a whole chain reaction of people going down. And then there's Aaron Carter. We can't ignore the pain he carried. Before his tragic death, he battled both addiction and mental health issues. But behind all that, people close to him say there was something deeper. Aaron had reportedly been to several elite industry parties as a teen, and they messed him up. Bad. His former manager even said Aaron got pulled into high-level circles way too young, exposed to things no teenager should ever deal with. And in the months leading up to his death, Aaron started talking. He didn't name names, but he hinted at traumatic stuff going down at Hollywood gatherings. And the way he described it, it lines up with everything we're hearing now. He never said Diddy's name, but the timing, the vibes, the fear, it's all clicking into place. This isn't just a scandal, it's turning into a reckoning. Now when we talk about exploitation in the industry, one unexpected name that's got folks talking is Burna Boy. Back in 2020, out of nowhere, Diddy jumped in heavy, executive producing Burna's album, Twice as Tall. The two had zero history before that, yet suddenly they were glued to each other online, popping up on live streams, studio clips, cozy interactions, you name it. And yeah, the internet noticed. That sudden bond sparked a flood of rumors, wild speculations about what was really going on behind the scenes. Some even pointed to suspicious images that made the rounds online, some of which folks claimed were edited or altered. Still, the whispers never stopped. On the surface, it looked like just another business move, but insiders are still raising eyebrows. Why did Diddy get involved so fast? And why did that whole connection vanish right after the album dropped? No follow-up work, no continued mentorship, just silence. And then we got Orlando Brown, the only one bold enough to straight up say what Diddy allegedly did to him. While most stay quiet, Orlando's been out here shouting, dropping accusations that are way too wild to ignore. Say what you want about him, but he's been consistent, and now that everything's unraveling, his stories ain't sounding so far-fetched anymore. Orlando Brown didn't hold back in his interviews. He straight up said Diddy forced him into situations with multiple rappers, and not just random names. We're talking about some of the biggest in the game. At first, folks brushed it off as delusional talk. But now, industry vets are saying Orlando might be playing crazy on purpose, not because he's unstable, but as a survival tactic. Music journalist Jaguar Wright even said, Orlando knows exactly what he's doing. Acting crazy gives him freedom to speak truths no one would believe otherwise. It's how you stay alive in this business. That line hit hard, and it gets deeper. Another name caught in the crossfire is Brysher Gray, aka Hakeem from Empire. Multiple sources say his whole career flipped after he started showing up to those infamous industry parties. Jaguar Wright dropped another bombshell. She claimed Will Smith was the one who handed Brysher to Diddy. Whether that's true or not, the timeline is chilling. Right after Empire wrapped, Brysher's rising star just flatlined. Then came that wild arrest, SWAT team, standoff, the whole thing, followed by public mental health struggles. After that, silence. Industry folks stopped answering his calls. Opportunities vanished. And just like that, one of TV's breakout stars disappeared. What's really disturbing here is how all these stories keep lining up and how they connect to warnings that have been ignored for years. For years, people brushed it off. But now the things Cat Williams has been screaming about, they're looking real. He's been calling out Diddy's shady behind-the-scenes behavior for over a decade. In multiple interviews, Cat said he walked away from millions just to keep his integrity intact. Why? Because he refused what he called inappropriate advances from high-powered figures, and he wasn't afraid to say it. These days, it ain't just talk anymore. Enter Joseph Meseros, a man who filed a civil lawsuit claiming he was drugged and taken to one of Diddy's parties against his will. Not through the front door, but through an underground tunnel. The lawsuit even named a bunch of A-list celebrities who were allegedly there. Actors, artists, the works. And Diddy's legal team? They've been fighting tooth and nail to shut it down. They tried to get the whole thing tossed or at least delayed, but the judge wasn't having it. Court documents confirm the judge said the evidence is too serious to ignore and needs full investigation. But here's where it gets even darker. Word on the street is, those secret tapes, the ones causing chaos right now, might not just be for this investigation. Nah, insiders say those recordings might have been used as leverage for years, to control people, to keep folks quiet, to keep the power where it's always been. And if those tapes really were used for leverage, then we're not just talking blackmail. We're talking systemic control. Multiple insiders have hinted that some of these recordings were used to keep artists, actors, and even executives in line. Careers were built, or buried, depending on whether people played by the rules. One music exec, who asked to stay anonymous, said flat out, "People knew there were cameras. They just didn't know where or who was watching. You step out of line and suddenly your deal vanishes, your calls get ignored, your name gets blacklisted." Now imagine that happening to dozens of people, maybe even more. That's why some of the biggest stars go silent when Diddy's name comes up. They've seen too much, or worse, been caught up in it themselves. And then there's the money trail. Multiple lawsuits have alleged shady financial payouts, hush money, NDAs, and sealed settlements to keep victims quiet. Some of these payments allegedly came right after certain parties or events. It all paints a disturbing picture, one where fame and fortune came with a price nobody talked about out loud. But with the feds digging deeper and those tapes surfacing, the silence might finally be breaking. And if what's on those recordings gets out to the public, the fallout won't stop at Diddy. This could blow the lid off the entire industry. Behind the scenes, panic is spreading, fast. Sources say some high-profile names are already lawyering up, terrified that their faces or voices might show up in one of those tapes. These aren't just background cameos either. Some are allegedly caught in the act. And if the footage is as incriminating as insiders claim, careers, endorsements, and even freedom could be on the line. One well-known publicist allegedly warned their client, "If your name's tied to this, we need to disappear you for a while. No press, no posts, go dark." That's how serious this is. Folks are scrambling to distance themselves, but it might be too late. Even more chilling, a few former party regulars are reportedly cooperating with investigators, turning over messages, photos, and receipts in exchange for protection. If they flip, they could expose who was organizing these events, who was invited, and what really went down. It's not just about Diddy anymore. The entire elite circle around him is under a microscope. Artists, producers, even some major studio execs. This could trigger a domino effect no one saw coming. And the scariest part? Word is we've only seen a fraction of what's coming. More tapes, more names, more fallout. What started as whispers is now a full-blown storm, and no one in that circle is safe anymore. At this point, the silence is breaking from inside the industry. Whispers have turned into confessions, and the ones who used to stay quiet, they're starting to speak, not just to the press, but to federal investigators. One insider who attended multiple parties over the years claimed everyone knew what those nights were about. It wasn't networking, it was control. Once you were in, you either played along or you disappeared. That statement alone has people rethinking everything they thought they knew about the music and film world. A-list celebs are ghosting public appearances, suddenly going quiet on socials, deleting posts, unfollowing longtime collaborators. It's not random. People are cleaning house before their names land in headlines. Some even change legal teams mid-trial, a clear sign that things behind the scenes are crumbling. And the investigators? They're not backing down. With more witnesses stepping forward and more footage being authenticated, the case is expanding. What began as a scandal surrounding Diddy is snowballing into something much bigger, a potential industry-wide takedown. If these testimonies keep coming and the full tapes are released, this won't just be about individual crimes. It could expose a whole system, one built on fear, silence, and manipulation. And once that curtain is pulled back, there's no hiding anymore. These tapes, they're not just evidence, they're leverage. And that might explain why so many major artists are staying dead silent. No statements, no support, no outrage, just quiet. Because if they were there, if they got caught up, then they know what's coming next. One user didn't hold back, posting, "This Diddy shit is not a joke at all. This man been doing this industry shit for years. They finally got him, and a whole lot of y'all favorite people finna get called out in the process." And honestly, they might be right. Another insider dropped an even colder warning. The names we're about to confirm, they're gonna shock everybody. That's how deep this goes. The Diddy investigation is snowballing, and it's way bigger than anyone expected. It's not just about one man. The whispers are saying it's all of them. So now we gotta ask, Could these alleged tapes tear down the walls of the whole industry? Are we finally watching the masks fall off and seeing the real face of power in entertainment? Let us know what you think. Drop your thoughts below, because this isn't just about music, it's about power. And when power's left unchecked for too long, somebody always ends up getting hurt. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop with all the latest. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll catch you in the next video.